Grok 2 has arrived, and the images you can generate with this model are actually pretty wild. The model is also state-of-the-art, putting up exceptional numbers on popular benchmarks and earning itself a spot on the podium at number 3 in the LM-SIS chatbot arena. Sakana AI has developed the AI Scientist, a comprehensive framework for fully automated scientific discovery using frontier large language models. The AI Scientist automates the entire research process, from generating the ideas itself to even presenting its findings in a full scientific manuscript. The AI Scientist has already published multiple research papers on the topic of AI, marking the beginning of a new era in scientific discovery. Lastly, with an increase of 6 times the number of trips performed by autonomous vehicles from just last year, Uber is looking to expand its self-driving services. The CEO talked about this in an interview recently, where he goes into the stats of how many of their users preferred autonomous vehicles versus human drivers, and the results might surprise you. So if you didn't catch it before, that mysterious model in the LM-SIS chatbot arena, sus column R, that everyone was talking about and thought was an OpenAI model, actually ended up being Grok 2. XAI confirms it in their blog post announcing the release of Grok 2, and Elon Musk also tweeted out this. So I guess that Strawberry guy ended up being wrong about sus column R, but we'll still be keeping an eye on him. Getting into some of the details about Grok 2, the first thing we'll take a look at is the benchmarks. As you can see, both Grok 2 and Grok 2 Mini, which they released alongside it, performed very well on traditional benchmarks. Grok 2 even slightly outperforms GPT-4o and Gemini 1.5 Pro on multiple benchmarks, making it a truly state-of-the-art model. They also posted a win rate chart where they put Grok 2 up against other frontier models in the chatbot arena, and they found that Grok 2 was preferred over any other model besides Google's Gemini 1.5 Pro. But the part that really excites me about this model, that I'm sure you guys are already well aware of, especially if you have Twitter, is its insane image generation capabilities. They state in their blog, in collaboration with Black Forest Labs, we're experimenting with their Flux 1 model to expand Grok's capabilities on X. So they've integrated Flux 1 directly into Grok instead of creating their own image generator, which clearly saved them a lot of time. I already made a video talking about Flux 1, so I won't go into too much detail about it, but as you can see, the images this model can generate are extremely realistic and not heavily regulated like other models. Also, since the model is directly integrated into the X platform, it'll have access to real-time information within the app, unlike other frontier models that have a knowledge cutoff date. So overall, this model is really good, and keep in mind, XAI released their first version of Grok less than a year ago, back in November of 2023, and they've already managed to catch up to everyone else and release a state-of-the-art model, Grok 2. Elon Musk also stated in a recent interview that they've already been working on Grok 3, planning for a release in December, and they're training it with their new Memphis supercluster, which has up to 100,000 H100 NVIDIA GPUs, making it the most powerful AI training cluster in the world, at least for now. So Elon Musk seems to be delivering on his AI promises, and if we can truly get Grok 3 by the end of the year, that would just be absolutely insane, because it'll be trained on 4x the compute of Grok 2, and from what high-level people in the AI space have been saying lately, it seems like we still haven't reached diminishing returns with scale yet. Here's Microsoft's Chief Scientific Officer, Eric Horvitz, a very intelligent man who's been in the space for a really long time, giving his take on the accelerated progress we're seeing right now in AI. And he also gives a timeline as to when things will start to get really crazy, so I'm just going to play this clip for you guys because it's actually pretty crazy.
I believe these systems are impressively creative, and they will become even more so, even more imaginative over time. And I'll also ask the question, if you say, that system is just combining ideas of various kinds, isn't that what we do? Our most creative folks, even when we're thinking out of the box, we're combining thinking patterns and methods of various kinds in the same way. I would say to everybody, even the people who are naysayers right now about creativity in these machines, hold on to your seats, because we are on a curve. It's likely an exponential right now in terms of capabilities we're seeing. And check back with me in 18 months.
Just 18 months?
Yes.
Is there something specific you want to tell us about?
I just think that's the pace for one right now. I think we all have a sense that we're coming up onto a new plateau.
Yeah.
Like, well, isn't this cool? What do we do with this? material science, bioscience. This is fabulous, but we're actually riding a different kind of wave right now.
18 months from now would put us in early 2026, which would probably be around when GPT-6 would be releasing. So, I mean, based on the leaps we've seen before between GPT-3 and GPT-4, and even the previous models, plus all the recent investments we've seen in the AI space, and the fact that literally every big tech company in the world right now is racing towards AGI, it's hard to say what GPT-6 will look like, but I think it'll be pretty good. AI is already changing everything with the insane recent advancements we've seen in AI voice, particularly with GPT-4o's advanced voice mode, which OpenAI already discovered in testing that people began to feel emotionally connected to the model, showing early signs of potential addiction. Other advancements continue to be made in this space. A team of researchers recently introduced a new speech-language model that actually allows the AI to listen while speaking, enhancing real-time conversation. For previous AI voice models, you would have to wait until it's done talking to then talk yourself, although some current advanced voice modes like OpenAI's advanced voice mode actually allow you to interrupt the AI at any moment, but this is different because it's not just listening to know when to stop talking if you decide to interrupt it, but it's actually actively listening and taking in everything you say, even if it's just verbal affirmations. Meta seems to know what's coming and is already trying to secure contracts with celebrities to use their voices in their AI services. A smart move indeed, especially with already having their Meta AI studio, which essentially allows users to create an AI version of themselves. So we're on the cusp of an AI chatbot explosion where having a conversation with an AI will soon feel so human-like that people might actually prefer it to talking with real-life human beings. If you don't believe me, just look at what Replica's CEO Eugenia Cuida said about people eventually marrying their AI chatbots. I think it's alright as long as it's making you happier in the long run, as long as your emotional well-being is improving, you are less lonely, you are happier, you feel more connected to other people, then yes, it's okay. So obviously getting married to an AI chatbot sounds like an outlandish, extreme scenario, but people are already starting to recognize it as a real possibility, and again, with the rate at which things are advancing, it might not be so far away. In other AI news, I was honestly pretty shocked that we're already getting fully automated research papers written by AI. This kind of came out of nowhere, and it's probably one of the most important AI developments we've seen in a while, so let's take a look at how it works. This is the AI scientist's research process, and they divide it into 4 main processes. The first one being idea generation. That's the boxes that are in blue. The model first brainstorms an idea or subject to research, then it runs it through a novelty check to see how many other papers there are already on this idea, and finally it scores the ideas and chooses the best one. Its next process is essentially just conducting experiments, whether that be through writing and executing code or just visualizing the data in a chart. Its third process involves the writing of the paper following a scientific manuscript and citing its sources. And finally, they use LLMs to review the papers and provide feedback for improvement, enabling a continuous feedback loop. So this is essentially self-proving AI if you think about it, because you're having an LLM conduct the research and then another LLM reviewing that research, resulting in the previous LLM updating and improving its research to then be reviewed again however many times they feel necessary. It's pretty insane that we're already seeing this, and they leave us off with something to really think about. They stayed here, but while the current iteration of the AI scientist demonstrates a strong ability to innovate on top of well-established ideas, such as diffusion modeling or transformers, it is still an open question whether such systems can ultimately propose genuinely paradigm-shifting ideas. Will future versions of the AI scientist be capable of proposing ideas as impactful as diffusion modeling, or come up with the next transformer architecture? Will machines ultimately be able to invent concepts as fundamental as the artificial neural network or information theory? So definitely something to think about. I mean, imagine we had super intelligent AIs working day and night trying to solve super complex problems like nuclear fusion, curing diseases, and other important issues. At some point, if AI surpasses human intelligence, which many people believe is only a few years away, then we could start seeing real scientific breakthroughs at a rate we've never seen before, ever. So not only will AI accelerate scientific research, but it will also be able to get you around town. As Tesla gears up for the robotaxi unveiling in October, Uber looks to expand their autonomous vehicle services, partnering with companies like Waymo in order to stay competitive. Their CEO shared some interesting insight on the current state of autonomous vehicles versus human drivers, and keep in mind, this is based off the current self-driving technology we have, so this can definitely change as these systems get much better.
We're seeing that when someone is offered, one of our customers is offered an autonomous ride, about half the time they say, yeah, that'll be really cool. Half the time they say, no, thank you. I'd rather have a human. I think that's going to improve over a period of time. But I think the experience is a delightful experience. Robot drivers aren't quite as good at human drivers in terms of ratings right now, and maybe because people like to rate people at higher levels, or they're going to be less, they're going to be tougher on robots than humans, etc. But I think people are trying to get from point A to B, and for us, it's about driving perfection in every case, and giving people the convenience of their time back.
So self-driving cars are coming and are already here in some areas, but unfortunately these autonomous vehicles are likely going to take a lot of human jobs, especially on platforms like Uber that prioritizes company profits very heavily. So if you're working a job right now that involves mainly driving, especially non-skilled driving, then it might be a good time to start looking for something else, at least as a backup plan. Finally, to end off on a bit of a scary note, robot dogs have started being deployed in Ukraine, tasked with collecting data, transporting cargo, and performing surveillance. Thankfully, these robot dogs aren't being used as weapons yet, and hopefully they never will be, because being chased down by one of these things is really just a tough way to go out. Anyways, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.